Christy and Alonso, Turning Red. It drops today on Disney Plus.
It does indeed. It is the latest from Pixar. It is from Domee Shi, who did this fantastic Oscar-winning short called Bow, which made me cry, which is this incredible, like the simplest, most high concept idea. And it was so moving. And she accomplishes that here as well with Turning Red. It is about a 13-year-old girl living in Toronto. Her name is Mei Lin. She is voiced by Rosalie Chiang. And she's a 13-year-old girl in every imaginable way. She's excited. She is anxious. She is passionate. The year is 2002. So she's super into boy bands with all of her best friends, which is a really hilarious running bit. The whole thing with the boy band.
Yes. Four Town.
Yeah, the Four Town. Yes. And, but one day when she gets really, really worked up, her whole body just explodes. She wakes up and she's exploded into this red panda. She is no longer an awkward 13-year-old girl. She's this giant furry creature. And it's how that panda comes out when she gets excited in any way. It's like the manifestation of her hormones. They're raging. So if she's giddy about a boy, or she is nervous or mad at her mom, when she and her mom get into fights the way, 13-year-old girls do with their moms, that pops out, and it's how she learns to contain it or not, or learns to embrace it possibly. It's a lot of fun. It's really truthful about some honest, specific stuff about growing up, and in the way that like Frozen and Brave also have encouraged young girls to not just accept, but embrace and push forth to the world their boldest self, their true self. This does that too. But then there's also an incredibly moving sequence toward the end, which I suspect also reminded you of Petite Maman, like it did for me. My goodness, did I cry. It's the most elegant, like efficient, beautiful transition that occurs toward the end of it. It's so lovely. Anyway, I really liked it a lot. What'd you think?
Yeah, I loved it. I think in the same way that like Luca operates on one level just as a fun story and adventure about friendship, but then also you can read into it a lot of different metaphors that are being played with. Again, this is a movie where, yes, you can read a lot into what that red panda means and how it manifests, but ultimately this is about like a girl and her mother and the sort of repercussions of mother-daughter relationships over the generations. The panda thing winds up being something that's been handed down matriarchally in her family line. I love the relationship with her three best friends. Like they just were all sort of interesting and funny and eccentric and unique. I like the specificity of the 2002 and how, the whole boy band thing and why not set a movie in Toronto? Like it's not like a fictional any town, or it's not an American city. It's Toronto, and okay, great. Why not?
Mm-hmm.
I was really charmed by it, and I think it's a movie that will mean a lot to women specifically, but not just to women. Mm-hmm. I think there's a lot that you can read into it in terms of just, the awkwardness of growing up, the way that your relationship with your parents changes when the hormones kick in and you're in the throes of puberty, but at the same time, you do kind of discover these parts of yourself that maybe you want to hang on to for later. I love the look of it. There's a real sort of, you see these anime influences pop up, like people's eyes get big and round whenever they're, encountering something really cute. Even just the fact that that Mei-Lin's teeth are curved at the bottom rather than, square, to me kind of reminded me of certain things out of Pompoko or something. I actually, there's a lot of Pompoko in this movie now that I think about it, in terms of transformation and the big furry creatures and stuff. I was delighted with it. I think it was really good. And Pixar has taken a lot of heat, and rightly so, over the years for not having more women directing their movies. And so I think this is a film that comes from it's co-written by two women, it's directed by a woman. It has a female POV, but it's still a very universal story. And I think I think these movies are getting dumped on Disney Plus because of Pixar's stellar track record, and Disney doesn't want to asterisk that with releasing stuff in theaters while theaters aren't entirely open. But coming like this and and Luca, I think, are both terrific. I mean,
And
Onward
Soul, didn't Soul come out
and
on
Soul, yes,
yeah.
exactly, yeah. So like they're very much on a roll right now, and I think they're doing great work.
I agree. And I know there's been a lot of like hemming and hawing about, oh, it's not being released theatrically. I would love to have seen this in a theater, but the
Sure.
fact that folks can see it at home over and over again with their
Yeah.
kids is exciting. I watched it with Nick, who is a 12-year-old boy, not a 13-year-old girl, and he laughed his ass off the whole way through and told all his friends about how good it is. So I think it's not just for girls. I think it's for kids of a lot of ages it will resonate, and also for adults to have that reminder of how you learn that your mom is also somebody else's daughter is an interesting eye-opening dynamic that occurs, somewhere down the road as you're getting older yourself, and they address that in ways that are very honest and moving. So Sandra Oh is great as her mom. Like James Hong is in this. Orion Lee is the voice of her dad. It's a really good voice cast.
Yeah, in fact, I was going to dig up her name. The actress who, you didn't watch the Netflix Marvel shows, I take it. No. But the woman who plays Madame Gao, who is like a very fearsome member of, like, she's the one person in the sort of in the New York mob who can make a kingpin nervous because she is so powerful. She voices the grandmother. Hyein is the actress's name, and so she's dynamite in this. Billie Eilish co-wrote all of the songs, which have a very boy band flair to them and are very earwormy.
Right, Phineas, her brother, who her co-writer and producer, is one of the Four Town boys.
Yeah, and the two of them wrote the songs together.
The songs are very catchy. You will enjoy the songs. If you're longing for boy band pop cheesiness, it is all over this. So what's your number then?
I said 8.5. I really enjoyed it a lot, and it's one I think I'll be going back to because I think I'll be finding new things in it. There's a lot of quick gags and sort of emotional beats that maybe I didn't quite catch the first time, but I liked it very much.
I'm saying 8.8, so our number's an 8.7, turning red on Disney Plus today.
Yeah, and if you're in LA, it's at the El Capitan.
Oh, good to know.